need you to come to Burns, or to the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, which is about 30 miles from Burns, Oregon. We have taken over the refuge. We have made a hard stand. We have done this because this refuge has been a tool that has been used to destroy ranchers, destroy loggers, and to oppress the people here in Harney County.
Well, let me just back up a little bit. I didn't know much about the Hammonds even 5 weeks ago, other than a few articles, you know, and I mean, I knew what was going on, believe me, but I didn't know much about it. And I went and got in bed one Monday night, and my phone chimed, these noisy phones, right? And I looked at it, and it was a little article that somebody sent me on the Hammonds. And there began to be this, like, almost overwhelming desire that I had. Like, it was unbelievable to find out what in the world was going on with the Hammonds. I mean, and I couldn't sleep. I got up and I studied all through the night, every article I could. I read and read and studied about the Hammonds because I had this urge, this desire. And then after I felt like I had a pretty good idea what was going on, then I began to get this urge that I needed to write something. Well, I'm not much of a writer, but I did the best I could. I was struggling, trying to write, right? And I asked the good Lord, I said, hey, if you want me to write something, then I need some help. And He did. He gave that help to me, and I was able to write what I was supposed to write. And during that writing, I found something. I learned several things that are very impactful here, and that is one. The Lord was not pleased with what was happening to the Hammonds. Okay? And I apologize for being emotional. I hope you guys can get past that. The Lord was not happy with what was going on with the Hammonds, and I understood that in this writing. 2, I understood that what was happening to them and what was happening to the people of Harney County was a type and a shadow of what was going to happen to all people across this country if we did not stand. That was the second thing I understood. And the third, I gotta think here a little bit, but the third piece was that this was very clear. The third piece was that if the people allowed these things to continue to the Hammonds, that He would hold them accountable. And then He shared with me something else that has actually came true, and I didn't understand it at the time. But He told me that I was supposed to go to the Hammonds, and I was supposed to find out some things. But He also helped me to understand. And I'm not saying that I'm getting a voice or anything. Don't get me wrong. It was an understanding. But He helped me understand that through this process, the Hammonds would eventually not allow you to help them any longer. Okay? And I found that out. I tell you those things because I want you to understand that I know without doubt that this is the issue, this is the time, and you are the people. And it is now that we must stand. And if we do, and we do it right, we do not have to do it with bloodshed. We do not have to do it with anything but honor. But if we do it right, we can restore the Constitution back to this county, and it can be an example for all the other counties across this nation. And I'm telling you, I know with everything that's inside of me that the time is now, this is the place, and you are the people.
Well, there's a goddamn BLM, whoever runs it, they need to white ones go to the penitentiary. Because I've got a lot of years behind me, and I've seen a lot of fire, and it's probably the last 50 years, and it's really, because it used to be, everybody went to fire or whatever, and they had the stake, and you put it out. and you didn't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and quit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You stay, this last summer, they come out of Burns here and would come out to Crane, and they wouldn't get out there till 8 o'clock. 4 of them pickups, and them all around there. And then about 10, 11 o'clock, you'd see them headed out to where the fire was. Well, due in, due down. The fire was just. So, and they talked about, well, you had to have experience, you had to have to educate. That fellow that sent them kids into that fire in Colorado, they made a hero out of him. And it was right something, if anybody's ever been out, I rode every damn day in the mountains with the wind, and you be right here, the wind will be blowing this way, you just go around a little bit like this, and the sun was going to be blowing the other way. So he didn't know it, but he had the expertise. Now they make a hero out of him, so.
All of the allegations that were brought up to the sheriff about the fires were brought to the sheriff by federal employees. Every single one of them. Okay? And the sheriff arrested the Hammonds and charged them with multiple state charges. The district attorney of this district, of this county, reviewed those charges and decided that there was not enough evidence to charge the Hammonds. That the Hammonds, there was not enough evidence to prove that the Hammonds were guilty of anything. So he dropped them. He dropped them and he did nothing with them. He allowed them to expire. And that was his intent, to not prosecute them. 5 days before the statute of limitation ended, the U.S. Attorney's Office brought up new charges, completely different charges than what the state charges were, and these charges were terrorist charges under the Anti-Terrorism Effective Death Penalty Act of 1996. And then we know the rest of the story from there. They were prosecuted. There was well, it started out that still to this day, one of our questions that we're asking in this notice of grievance, notice of redress grievance, excuse me, is that there was never a grand jury that assembled and properly indicted.
This is Ben Matthews again, and your name is?
James Mail.
How long have you lived here?
18 years.
18 years. First question I want to ask you, do you think that they got a fair trial from their peers?
No, they did not.
And why do you say that?
Because if they want to, if the federal government or anyone else is saying this is a fair trial by their peers, then why did they not have the trial here in Harney County? Instead, they took the Hammonds someplace else to have their trial, which most of the people around Harney County, they don't have the money to travel to go do this. So if they're getting tried and saying that they're a fair trial from their peers, they're full of shit, because if they want a fair trial from the peers, they should do it here in Burns.
And
Like,
I guess,
okay, the Bundy bunch, or the people that are here to fight for the Hammonds, they're here to get the Constitution part of it down, because without the Constitution, what is there?
right. And if we don't make stands like here or the Bundy Ranch, then it may be you, your neighbors.
Yeah. Who's next?
It don't have to be Oregon. It don't have to be, you know, it could be anywhere in the United States of America.
There's people that burn. There's people that burn their garbage. They burn ditches. They burn the fields so that they can get the regrowth. So what is stopping?
Repeat that, because a lot of people that are watching this ain't gonna understand that why you do that.
Okay, so there's the ranchers that burn their fields to have regrowth. There's people that burn ditches. There's people that burn garbage, such and such. And what's stopping them, the federal government, from coming into Burns, Oregon, taking every single rancher that's burning their fields to have regrowth and trying them as terrorists.
And do you feel that they're terrorists?
No.
You're right, I agree. I mean, what is a terrorist now in the United States? An average Joe like me and you? Because we believe in what we believe in, we stand up for our rights in the Constitution, so we're now labeled as terrorists?
Yeah. But I think it's a good thing that Bundy Bunch, everybody here that's fighting for the Hammonds to get the stuff straightened out, because who says that me or a million other ranchers that are burning their fields for regrowth so that they can have hay for the next year or anything like that, who's stopping them, the federal government, coming in saying that they're tried as a terrorists and throwing them in prison? So with the guys that are here for fighting with the Hammonds, they should stay here until all this crap straightens out, because the people of Burns are losing the common sense of, there should be legalization. If you're gonna get tried as with peers, it should be tried where you're from.
Right, like you, if you were on a jury, what would your verdict be? What would your verdict? What would you have decided if you were their peers? And what would you have decided? Guilty or not?
I'd say not guilty, because with the fire that happened, they set a backburn to save their cows, save their house, and save their property.
That's true.
So if the federal government legalizes or says that's being a terrorist, then they should have half of the United States behind bars.
There you go.
Because there's many people that backburn to save their property.
All right. Well, I appreciate the interview, man, and I wouldn't be standing out here in the cold with you if I didn't stand with you and believe in you. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is Ben Matthews reporting, and this is
Lee Carlton.
Lee Carlton. You mind telling me your story? You're a local here,
Yes, sir.
and you live in Burns.
Yes, sir.
All right. You mind telling me your story, and your opinion of us being here to support you, because you are going through a situation yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me your story?
I am currently going through in a similar situation as the Hammonds. On 4th of July, I was at a fire got set from somebody else, and I am getting blamed for it. Well, there's evidence showing that it was not me and everything, and I am still getting blamed, and so I am fighting it. My current plea bargain is 65 days in jail, 100 and some odd hours of community service, 3 years probation, $600 and some odd $1,000 worth of restitution, and manufacturing explosive and arson 2 will get dropped, and we will have possession of a destructive device and 2 reckless burnings. If we do take the plea bargain, then the federal government will drop, or the feds side will drop all the charges. We don't know what the charges the feds are going to give us yet, because we still have not been arraigned on.
Now, earlier I met you in the store, and we were talking, and you told me your viewpoints about BLM and that you're okay with the things because you actually get paid or something like that, or?
I believe in what's going on. I feel that we should have the backing of people in this community, not just the community, but other people outside of the community. If people see citizens of the United States, if they see that something's going on, we should all, us the people, not just the government, not just the local people, everybody should step up and say, hey, that is wrong, and go for it. Not just let them go back to prison. I feel it is the federal government's fault for not doing their job by charging them the way they should have charged them the first time, not go back and try recharging them. In my opinion, it's double jeopardy.
Exactly. What do you think about, because, see, I'm not familiar with you guys when you set fires and do what you do, but I've seen a video where the BLM set a fire during the month of July or August or
The
something.
BLM sets fires all the time around here. Not just BLM, but the Forest Service themselves set fires to slash burn. And it seems like every year they get caught. They're supposed to be controlled burns. Well, they get out of control, and then nobody gets in trouble. But then when you got other people that are burning their fields to help their fields, because we've been doing this for umpteen thousands of years, or not even that long. The Indians even burnt the plains to make them grow better, not just us cowboys or ranch hands. The Indians themselves did it, and to make the plains better. And that's all the burning does, is makes it better, not hurts it. Yeah, you might hurt it for a couple years or a year or so until it regrows, but it actually comes back thicker, not worse.
Now, your understanding with the Hammonds, that fire was set a backfire because
Yes.
of a lightning strike, right?
Yes.
So do you feel that they did the right thing by doing that?
Yes.
Would you do this? Would you do the same thing?
I would have done the same damn thing. That is the way you fight fire with fire.
Right.
And you can fight fire with fire and stop. That's how you put fire out, is fight it with a fire and burn all the stuff that what you're burning is the fuel. So if you take that fuel away from the fire, it's going to go out. Well, that's all they were doing, is, in my eyes, is what they were doing is trying to protect their own property and the surrounding property around them, not just themselves.
And one more question. Do you approve or disapprove of us being here to...
I approve of everything that is going on the militia, and not just the militia, everybody that is coming up from different states to help other people out in the community, because it's not, yes, we live in a community, but we live in a country, and everybody in the country is stepping up to help out somebody else that they have never even met. And that's the biggest thing they need to do is everybody needs to help everybody, not just, that's how a country works, not just one person taking a stand for one person.
And are you proud of the number of people who showed up tonight here?
Yeah,
This is quite a lot. This is quite impressive, and this is, not only, there's some people here that are against this, and that's why we're having this meeting. We set this meeting up where we can hear both sides of the story, that it's not just one side.
Exactly.
I've seen on the internet that a lot of people are saying that we're not welcome here, but the locals have welcomed us here with
I
open
think
arms.
half of the locals that don't know what really is going on are the ones that are saying they're not welcome, but the ones that know what's going on and have land and understand what exactly is going on are welcoming everybody, because who's next?
Exactly.
I got an eight-month-old daughter. Who's next? I help take care of 25 acres, and we burn our ditches every year. Could it be one of us next? Who knows?
And that's what I'm hearing. Who's next? Who's next? And people got to understand that it's not just here in Burns or at the Bundy Ranch. It's the whole countrywide. And if we keep allowing them to step on us and take away the rights that you have as a rancher to do what you've been doing for, like you said, all them years, that they're in control and say, no, you can't do that. Well, you know what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly.
And I appreciate this interview tonight, and God bless you and your
You're
family,
welcome.
man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, What we are now working right now.
Yeah, they have been working, like, everybody hasn't been sitting on their hands going, them.
Quite a few people just come up here and pull in and stop and talk. Say, thank you. What do you're here. What do you need? We live here. We're willing to give you stuff.
So you guys have had people coming up here. I'm recording, but I'm not recording in your guys' faces. You guys have had people from town, Burns, coming up here. Yeah.
I don't know
We already heard that.
I'm not sure if they were from Burns.
Well, they got to be from somewhere around here. They're locals.
Yeah, they're locals. and they're willing to help and share. They know what.
Well, and we're up here, and we're living in motel rooms, right? So, you know, we don't have groceries to bring you.